Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and happy Valentine's Day week 2025. To celebrate this lovely holiday, I decided to make this batch of strawberry cupcakes. The way I've laid out this recipe video is I'll first bake the cupcakes and then I'll frost them once they've cooled off. So first let's go through each of the 10 ingredients right here that I'll be using to make the cupcake batter. First up, I'll be using 2.5 cups of all-purpose gluten-free flour. I'm also using 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 cups of thawed frozen strawberries, 1/3 cup of unsweetened almond milk, 1/3 cup of vegan plant butter, which I'll be melting down, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and finally a small dab of this red food coloring gel. There's just 6 easy steps to the recipe. I've linked that recipe down below for you to follow along in case you want to make some of these Valentine's Day strawberry cupcakes yourself. For step number 1, I'll puree the 3 cups of thawed frozen strawberries in my blender. Once the strawberries are completely pureed in the blender, I'll set that aside and move on to step number 2, which is to mix together the 4 dry ingredients in a large glass bowl. That'll be the gluten-free all-purpose flour, the white granulated sugar, the baking soda, and the baking powder. For step number 3, I'll add the strawberry puree and all of the wet ingredients into the glass bowl with the flour mixture. So those wet ingredients are the almond milk, the melted vegan plant butter, the lemon juice, the vanilla extract, and the little dab of red food coloring gel. For step number 4, I'll scoop the batter into 12 liners in my cupcake tray. And here are the cute cupcake liners that I picked out. I'm planning to go with either of these 2 options at the top. For step number 5, I'll place the cupcake tray in my oven and I'll let the cupcakes bake for 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And to make sure that the cupcakes are completely baked, I'll take a toothpick and insert it into a few of the cupcakes while they're still in the oven. And if the toothpick comes out clean, that means that they're fully baked. And then for step number 6, the last step of this cupcake batter recipe, I'll remove the cupcake tray from my oven. I'll let the tray cool for about 5 minutes and then I'll remove the cupcakes from the tray and place them on my cooling rack to cool down for probably about 30 minutes, maybe even 45 minutes just to be sure. And the reason why I want to be totally sure that the cupcakes have completely cooled off is because I don't want to be frosting them while they're still warm or else the frosting will just melt right off. Speaking of which, I'll get to the frosting steps and the frosting making after the cupcakes have baked. So that'll be the second part of this video. So let's get started making this cupcake batter by blending down the 3 cups of thawed frozen strawberries. All right, everyone, it's time to start on the strawberry frosting for these cupcakes. I actually placed the cupcakes into my fridge to cool off on the cooling racks just to make sure that when I'm frosting them, they're nice and cool and the frosting won't melt. There's 4 ingredients I'm using for this frosting, and it's actually the same website that I used for the cupcake batter. So both the batter recipe and the frosting recipe are linked down below for you to check out. Let's first go through each of the 4 ingredients for the frosting one by one, super quickly. I'll be using 3/4 of a cup of this vegan plant butter, 3 to 4 cups of powdered sugar. In the interest of using up what I have, I dug out both of these powdered sugar containers, so I'll probably knock out this one and then use part of what's in this plastic bag. 1/4 cup of this strawberry powder, and a little fun fact for you, kind of random, but I was checking out the packaging and it says on the back here that this strawberry powder is a product of Lithuania. And finally, 1 to 2 tablespoons of the same unsweetened almond milk that I used in the cupcake batter. For step number 1 of this frosting recipe, I'll hand whip the vegan butter until it's looking pale, light, and fluffy. And I'm guessing it'll take me about 5 minutes to sufficiently hand whip the butter. For step number 2, I'll add the powdered sugar and the strawberry powder to the whipped butter, and I'll stir it all together for about 2 minutes. For step number 3, I'll add the 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsweetened almond milk to the frosting, and the exact amount will honestly depend on how thick the frosting frosting is looking at that point. And for step number 4, the last step of the frosting part of this whole recipe video, and honestly the last step to tie it all together, I'll be frosting the cupcakes with this, I guess, piping bag is what you'd call this. I've got it all ready to go with the correct nozzle. And I also have some sprinkles and some fresh strawberries that I'm gonna place on the tops of the cupcakes to make them look extra festive for Valentine's Day. We've now covered everything for the frosting, so let's get started whipping the vegan plant butter and quickly get these cupcakes frosted. All right, everybody, I'm done with the cupcakes. I've got my army of 12 beautiful vegan and gluten-free Valentine's Day themed strawberry cupcakes. What I'm gonna do, I just really want to keep these as pristine as possible. I tried really hard to keep the decorating nice and tidy. Boy, how do I just like make sure that I don't you know, like mess them up? I want to show you one up close, but my fear is that I'm going to lean forward and then just squash a bunch of them. I'm just going to set them well out of range, hopefully. Isn't this just so fun? I love the color that came through on the bake. Sometimes I've noticed this where a cake batter can look a certain color and then when you actually bake it and it's done, the color kind of fades. I don't know how easy it is for you to see, but I did cut these strawberries like hearts. I have to get this social media Instagram close up because I really wanted these to turn out well. All right, moment of truth. Let me grab a small plate I've got and dig into this. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody celebrating in one way or another. Isn't this just so pretty? This much pink makes me just so in the mood for Valentine's Day. I don't know if I'll be able to get all of it in one bite because that's probably gonna be a bit of a mess, but I'll try to get some of the frosting with the cupcake. Here we go. I might actually grab a fork for this, but that first bite was fantastic. I love how much strawberry is going on with these cupcakes. You get the strawberry flavor in the batter because of the pureed strawberries. And then of course there's the strawberry powder in the frosting, which gives it not only the strawberry flavor, but the really pretty pink color. And I'm glad too that these cupcake liners that I picked out happen to match the color of the cupcakes quite well. Forget the box of chocolates. These cupcakes are what you need on Valentine's Day. I also want to show you just like a cross section of this so you have a sense of how the inside of the cupcakes look. Pretty airy, pretty spongy. And then I made sure to load up the tops of these cupcakes with tons and tons of frosting. I used up the entire batch of frosting. It was just all there and I figured why not use it all. Well everyone, that concludes this Valentine's Day episode. Let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comments, and also feel free to let me know what you're doing to celebrate Valentine's Day this year. If you like this episode and are wanting some more vegan and gluten-free dessert ideas, I've got a couple of recipes linked for you at the end of this video. One of them is a pumpkin chocolate chip bread that I made back in the fall of 2024. And the second recipe is a red velvet cake I made for my 31st birthday, which happened to fall on Friday the 13th, so I wanted to go with a spooky horror-themed Friday the 13th cake. And now that I'm thinking about both of those recipes, I think I used the gluten-free all-purpose flour that you saw here. It's the King Arthur Baking Company brand, which is phenomenal. So go enjoy those, you guys, especially if you're needing some more sweet treat ideas after Valentine's Day. Take care, my lovely foodies. Eat well. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'll see you in the next episode on this channel. Bye!